Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, whatever time of day it is. Grateful you guys are joining us.
I'm JD.
Hey, I'm Mark, or Dad in this particular case, as far as he's concerned. So JD, what are we doing today?
We're setting up a Raspberry Pi so we can make a automatic tea maker for you.
Automatic tea maker. Oh, that sounds great. That'll be a lot of fun. I could seriously use some help in brewing the perfect cup of tea. Okay, so JD, what are we going to need in order to get going?
Well, we'll probably be able to throw in the full description below, but first
That's a good plan.
we should then show them the Raspberry Pi.
Okay, so this is the Raspberry Pi. It's basically a small little computer that allows you to program a whole lot of things. It has a whole bunch of parts. I'm going to get JD to see if we can identify these. JD, what's that?
That is a central processing unit, or CPU, with a heatsink, because it gets seriously hot. It's the brain of the computer, so it's working and thinking and stuff.
So I think the important thing here, this is as he said, the brain. This little thing over here is
the graphic processing unit.
So that handles all of the graphic interface that we see. So when you output things to the screen, that's what it's going to be. Okay, so on the side over here, we can see, so this little thingy over here, this little thing, that's where the power plugs in. So where's the power supply, JD? Do we have a power supply anywhere?
Yes.
That is not a power supply. Grab that one. Yeah. Okay, so that is the power supply. So the power supply for a Raspberry Pi is a 5-volt power supply. Make sure you get the right power supply. Usually it'll come with the Raspberry Pi that you buy. This is a Model 3B Raspberry Pi. So it's not the latest and greatest, but it will definitely work for what we're going to do. Okay. So the power supply plugs in over here. So you're going to take your power cable, wherever it is, you're going to plug it in over here. Okay, so power supply plugs in over there. What is that, JD?
That is HDMI cable.
HDMI? Okay,
Yes.
So HDMI is your output to your TV or your screen. We're going to plug it in over here. Nice thing about HDMI out is if you've got sound in your HDMI device, you get sound there as well. You don't have sound, we've got what, JD?
We've gotten
It's an audio port. An audio port you can plug in over there, which is great. These things across the side over here, what do these do? What are these for, do you know? Nope, that is the look of confusion. Those are USB ports. So USB ports is a standard thing we're going to use to plug in a a keyboard or a mouse or any other kind of USB device that we're going to use. We're going to actually use a couple things here for this project, I think. So I'm going to take this and plug it in here. This gives us a keyboard and a mouse on our Raspberry Pi. Okay, so where are we going to store everything, JD? What else do we need in order to get this baby running?
We also need to have we also need to have the SD card and put it into the SD card reader.
Okay, so SD card is in essence a little hard drive that we're going to do. This is the same kind of card you would use in a camera. We've just got a little 8 gig SD card over here and an 8 gig SD card reader, which we're going to plug into the computer to be able to configure. So this card, in essence, is going to go here at the back of the Raspberry Pi. You see this little card slot over here? This card goes in with the little pins and stuff facing up. So or facing it towards the thing. It goes in here and it clicks. Okay, so that is the setup of the Raspberry Pi. We're not going to turn it on now because the Raspberry Pi, unfortunately, is like a newborn kid. It doesn't have anything. So before we can do anything else, JD, we've got to get it going and we've got to put it onto a computer. So that we can load something into here to tell this little processor how to process things. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the card reader that JD has and we're going to plug this into the card reader. Thank you, JD. We're then going to plug the card reader, plug it in firmly, plug the card reader into a USB slot of the computer that you're using. We're using a normal Windows machine, which means that it's going to come up in a Windows dialog. We're going to plug that in there. Now, we need to install an operating system on the Raspberry Pi before we can really get cracking with any project. JD, what is an operating system?
It is a software that allows you to speak to a computer, or to communicate with a computer without learning to speak a machine language.
That's very true. So in essence, it's semi-English or whatever language you're going to code in, converting to the general purpose input-output of the computer. So we don't need to learn to speak in machine language in order to communicate. To install on the Raspberry Pi, we're going to use Raspbian is the thing that we chose. Okay, JD, go ahead and install Raspbian for us.
So we're going to be going on to Microsoft Edge and type in www.raspberrypi.org/downloads. Scroll down. Press download for Windows. Yes, we're using Windows. That's why it says download for Windows for us. There we go. Open file. Now you press open
Jenny.
file. And press yes. Press install. Press finish.
Okay, so this is going to bring us up a nice little interface that this Raspberry Pi Foundation has created. It allows you to choose what we're going to do. We had said we're going to use Raspbian. JD, choose OS.
Okay.
The top one there, we're just going to take the default. Okay, choose storage. This is the important part. If you're using your dad's computer or family's computer, if you get this wrong, you will completely nuke his entire thing. So do not get this wrong. We're going to use the generic storage device mounted as K. That's the one. And we're going to go to configure. Now we're going to cheat a little bit here, and this is important because it allows things to happen a lot easier later. Click on the little gear there that goes to settings. It allows us to customize things. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down a little bit, and I want to set the username and password. So click on the, check the thing over there. Yep. Pi is the username. That's not a problem. Let's do a nice password. We're going to put in passwords, and we're going to use the most secure password we can think of. PASSWORD. There we go. Okay, so we're going to use configure wireless LAN as well. I want to configure the Wi-Fi. BH3 is the network that I have here. We're going to say password, and we're going to type in the password over here. If you don't know the password for your Wi-Fi, get it from your dad or from your back of your router is generally what you're going to have here. And that's going to allow you to connect there. The rest of the things I don't really care about that much. Host name, what do we want to call this? I think we're going to call this Bob. There we go, Bob. We're going to save. All right, JD, and then if you click on write, it will now write to the device that we have chosen. As long as we've chosen the correct one, we will not destroy all the work I've done. Go for it. And that will now open the drive and prepare to write. So now it will think about it. It gives us a warning because my antivirus is a bit worried that we're destroying things. And that's going to write. So when you finally finished downloading and installing that drive, you'll get a little message that pops up that says done. And that stage, what you need to do is you need to unplug the SD card from the reader, go for a J, and plug it into the Raspberry Pi. So remember we said that little slot at the back there is the one you want to do it. You're going to plug it in which way around, Jenny? Yep, that's correct. Make sure you plug it in with the with this part of it, the little teeth at the end as they're called, facing the actual motherboard. So you're going to plug it in like that. Okay, so just one more time, plug it in with the teeth towards the motherboards. They would be facing me right now. Plug it in like that. Okay, then we're going to go over here, and I'm going to switch across now so that we can record this, plugging it into the computer for the first time, and let's boot it up and see what happens. Okay, JD, so now we're going to get it going. Plug the SD card into the Raspberry Pi. Make sure you are plugging it in the correct way. Take it out and show everybody which way you plug it around. So the teeth are going downwards. If you're holding it upside, the Raspberry Pi upside down, teeth are going downwards. That's important, okay? Those go downward. Good. All right, and then JD, plug the power supply in to the side there, and let's see what's going to happen on the screen. Put that that down. Okay, so the first time it boots up, it's going to do a whole lot of extra little settings and stuff, generating SSH keys and a whole lot of things that you really don't need to know about right now, but just let it do it. And if we've got everything right, in a couple of minutes, it will finish this process. It will reboot the system in 5 seconds. I think it's confused because, oh no, that was 5. That was impressive. Last time I thought it was going to take 2 minutes, it took 25, so that was good. Okay, so it may reboot a couple of times now as it just configures itself. It's doing a lot of the setup for you. And you should be able to see that message, welcome to Raspberry Pi, and off we go. A process and you get it working, you will eventually see the screen that I believe is going to show up any second now. There it is. And that is what you should see as your first screen when you go. So if you've done everything the way that we did in the video, this is what we should see. Okay, so if you've set this up correctly, what you should see over here is this little Wi-Fi should show connected to the network that we did. Remember, I chose BH3, so this is connected. It's been assigned an IP address, which is great. Volume, all the rest of it, Bluetooth, we don't need to worry about any of that kind of thing. It does say there are updates available. We're going to go ahead and install the updates. We want to make sure that all updates and all things are done. This will once again take a while. So go ahead and do the updates and sign in next week to see what else we do.